Well, thanks for being with us this morning on the World Baseball Network, brought to you by Aladdin Bail Bonds, along with Bob Scanlan. Coach John Kentera will be with you until 12 o'clock. Coming up in hour number 2 at about 11:40, after he gets his workout in before heading to the ballpark tonight, veteran left-hander Trevor Miller of the St. Louis Cardinals is going to join us on the program, and we're going to get to more of your phone calls in hour number 2. But right now, great pleasure to welcome young guy out of Poway High School, had a great career at Poway, and went to Indiana University this past year where he was named Freshman All-American and the 2009 Big Ten Freshman of the Year. Alex Dickerson joins us here on the World Baseball Network. And Alex, first of all, did you enjoy the ball game last night?
Oh, yeah, definitely enjoyed it. Padres got a W. Got to see a great game.
Very nice. Alex, we appreciate you joining us today. Hey, you know, I'm looking at your numbers coming out of Poway. Just incredible what you did over there as a high school player. All San Diego Division I Player of the Year, all San Diego by the Union Tribune as well. You must have had a ton of choices of where you wanted to go to school, yet you and your teammate, Drew Leininger, decided to go to Indiana University. What went into that decision process for you guys?
Well, I mean, for me, it was first off, I talked to a lot of schools in the area, but I mean, I couldn't afford a few of them, and I don't know, I started getting recruited by Indiana, and that was the first one. I got it. I'm like, there's no way I'm going there. And then, and I started started looking at all my schools. I started visiting a lot of them. I looked around and looked at USB a lot, and I finally took my visit out to Indiana. Kept talking with the coach, really liked the coach, and I just started looking at the campus and everything. It's so much different out in the Midwest. It's just a college atmosphere out there. And I eventually just made my decision. I was gonna try something new. I was gonna go out of state and go to the Midwest, and I've had a great time out there.
Alex Dickerson from Indiana University by way of Poway High School. Hey, before we get into everything you did this year at IU, let's talk a little bit about that Poway High School baseball program. Your senior year, your ball club won 31-6. You won the Division I title here in San Diego, also by Max Preps, ranked number 1 in the state of California. You got a lot of good coaches on that staff up there.
Oh, yeah. Probably, in my opinion, best in probably California and the West Coast.
Talk a little bit about the coaches. You got a former big leaguer in Tom Bernansky. You got Bob Perry, who played for Jim Dietz at San Diego State. You got Dominic Johnson, Darren Johnson, guys that their dad played for about 17 years in the big leagues.
I mean, it was definitely the best atmosphere I could have gone through high school. I mean, they all balanced each other out, and they all had different aspects of the game that helped you get to that next level. Darren Johnson knows everything about hitting. His dad was a great hitting coach and a great hitter in the big leagues, and he was able to take me to that next level hitting-wise. And then you got Dominic Johnson, who's probably one of the best pitching coaches in probably the nation. They send people to him all the time for scouts. Scouts will send their prospects to him, and he works with them, does just a great job, works with the kids day in, day out. Sometimes doesn't even take money for him for lessons. That's how much he loves the game. And then Tom Bernansky played in the big leagues for, I don't know, over 10 years or so, and he just gives you those little parts of the game, that the stuff that you really wouldn't think of, and that just helps you move along. And then Bob Perry, who's the head coach, he just puts it all together. He's a great coach, puts everybody in the lineup, knows exactly when to make changes, and I don't know, it definitely showed in the last couple of years. Poway's won a couple CIFs.
Yeah, Alex, you mentioned all the great coaches and the experiences that you've had, and obviously not very a difficult transition from you going to high school to college ball. You had 370 last year, 14 home runs, 57 RBIs. You know, you're named Freshman of the Year. And I guess one thing I'm interested in is, compared to some of the other freshmen that came into your class, do you think you had an advantage on them simply because of the experience you had playing baseball here in Southern California and the level of competition that you faced on a more consistent basis?
Oh, definitely. I'd say that 100%. I went out there, and one of the stories I remember, the first thing talking to one of the guys, I was hitting with him in the cage, one of the freshmen, and I was just like, hey, keep your hands inside the ball, hit it the other way. And he's like, I've never heard that before. I'm like sitting here going, I've heard that my whole life. And then, I'm sitting there realizing how spoiled I was with the competition we had out here and with the coaching that I like personally got throughout my last 4 years in high school. I mean, yeah, it's definitely a huge advantage. I got in there and like all the stuff that like Bruno would tell me during games and like, hey, you got to look out for this and this. And I go, nah, it's not even a big deal. And then you get to that next level and you need to get that bunt down. You need to move runners over and stuff. And I don't know, it all just played out. And I was definitely like well prepared for college by the time I got there.
Alex Dickerson from Indiana University played his high school ball at Poway High School. 32-27 the Hoosiers were this past year, Alex, and you guys won the Big Ten tournament championship. And talk a little bit about that experience and getting the opportunity to go to a regional.
Oh, it was incredible. I mean, we got into the Big Ten tournament. We just had something about us. I mean, none of the games were even close. The crowds were unbelievable. It was in Columbus, Ohio, so when we played Ohio, I mean, they had about 4,000, 5,000 people there, and we'd shut them up by about the third inning. I mean, we had a great team. We had 7 guys drafted and 1 guy signed. And, I mean, going through all of that together, bounced back from some difficulties earlier in the year and got to that regional game. I mean, we got beat up pretty good in both the games, but it was incredible. It had people tailgating, people coming to watch us, and it was just a great experience overall, and we're hoping to go a little further next year.
You know, Alex, you mentioned, and I give you a lot of credit for this, you wanted to go somewhere else, get away from home and sort of get that Midwest exposure. Was there any homesickness or any difficulty in that transition from you sort of being away from home an extended period for the first time?
I mean, here and there. I mean, but for me, for some of my friends, like a lot of because we had a few guys come from California. I mean, they get a little more homesick than most, but you got to balance it out, and you got to say, hey, I'm having a great time here, and you do want to be home. You do want to see nice weather now and then. Once you just wake up for class on that day it's below zero, you're like, wow.
What am I doing out here?
But, I mean, it's a great time, and I balanced it out well, and it was just overall a great experience.
Hey, Alex, what are the facilities like for baseball at Indiana University?
They're very good. We're trying to work on getting a stadium, trying to get some clearance for that, basketball games, and we've worked on a lot in the basketball stadium, and football stadium just got a brand new weight room, supposed to be the biggest in the nation, so I can't wait to see that. And during the winter, we practice indoors, of course, and it's a indoor football field that you could drop nets down, and you can basically play a game with like a short left field. So, I mean, we got all the facilities to do well and everything, and it's pretty nice. You got a lot of funding, especially from the basketball program.
Alex, you just got back recently, if I'm not mistaken, from the Cape Cod League, which is one of the best summer leagues that's going on out there. You remember the Wareham Gatemen. Tell us a little bit about, what it's like playing summer ball and swinging the wood bats out there.
Well, that's a great experience, too. I mean, it's not as fun as going to college. I mean, you're getting jammed and broken bats left and right. But, that experience out there is another thing, right? Because you got a bunch of people, a bunch of fans that they live and die on that summer. They love going to games. You got up to about 3,000 people at some of the games. It's insane. And getting to see some of the best pitching in the nation. Some say that a couple scouts I heard say that that's comparable to high A, and some of those guys are double A quality pitchers. And I mean, it was a great experience. You struggle for a lot of it, and then you pick it up, figure it out, and I think I'm going to come back next year a better player.
Hey, Alex, and we're visiting with Alex Dickerson from Poway High, was the Big Ten Freshman of the Year this year with Indiana University. As far as position-wise, I know you were a DH and you played first. You played the outfield when you were in the Cape. Where'd you play?
Well, I was in the Cape. I played left field every day. And that was my one weakness throughout, especially during the fall for Indiana, as I just seemed to not be there fielding-wise. And then I also got hurt right before the season, pulled a hamstring, but I was still able to DH. And this year, that was the one thing I mainly worked on in the Cape. Worked on throwing, worked on running balls down, and I feel like I improved 100% there, and I feel like I'm definitely going to make an impact defensively this year.
You know, you mentioned swinging the wood bats, Alex, and how different it is with guys trying to get in your kitchen and breaking your bat and everything. Did you have to change any of your mechanics in terms of your approach at the plate? And if so, how does that translate back when you start swinging the aluminum sticks again for your regular collegiate season?
You know, the thing is I changed stuff like right when I got there, because I'm always a guy. I've always hit everything opposite field, everything center opposite field, and I've mainly lived outer half the plate. And so I tried to make some adjustments in my swing, like before I even had started, just to be able to hit that inside pitch. And in batting practice, I was crushing balls out all day long, but in the games I just wasn't getting the results. And I found out that inside pitches, even at the top pitchers in the nation can't hit that inside corner every time. And they'll either be inside, they'll hit you, or maybe they'll catch it. But by the end of the summer, I started picking up all my stats by just going back to the way I was, looking at that middle away pitch, was looking for it. And I realized I didn't have to make all those changes to begin with. And then getting back to aluminum bats, I guess you stick with the same approach. You can cheat a little, or you don't have to cheat very much. You don't have to look for certain pitches. You get a little lucky, you get jammed, you still get a base hit. But I don't know. For the most part, I felt like you just keep your same swing and just make sure you get through the baseball,
Hey, you know what, Alex, I got to hand it to you, man, because you're already figuring out some things that a lot of guys don't figure out until they get to the major leagues, if at all. So, hey, I give you a ton of credit, man. You're certainly a student of the game, and you're figuring out a lot of things early for yourself. That's great stuff, man.
Yeah.
Hey, Alex, before we let you go, I know you were drafted last year by the Washington Nationals. I know it was down there a ways in the 48th round, but did you ever seriously consider signing?
Well, all my considerations went earlier before the draft. I weighed out what I could have gotten money-wise and whether I wanted to go to college or play baseball professionally right away. And so I basically told scouts beforehand that I was probably going to go to college because parts of me said, yeah, I should have got the career started. But, I've just had a great time, and I'm learning in the 1 year of college already. I've learned so much. It's unbelievable about hitting, fielding, just the game in general. And so I really do think I made the right decision on going to college. You get another view of baseball itself, and just a different game. It helps you learn quicker, I feel. And I really think it's been a great time.
Oh, that's great. Well, hey, it was good to meet you last night at the ball game. Congratulations. And Bob and I will look forward to watching your progress over the next couple of years. And I believe you continue to put up the numbers you put up this year. There's no doubt you're going to be signing that contract here in a couple of years.
No question about it, Alex. I got to tell you what, I looked at your numbers and everything, and I was impressed by what I saw on paper. But now, having actually spoken with you and hearing your approach to the game and your understanding and your studenthood of the game, I'm totally impressed, man. I know we're going to be talking to you again with a nice major league contract in the future. Good luck to you.
Thank you very much.
Take care, Alex. Thanks again.
All right. Thanks very much for having me on.
Fill up there a little bit. Hey, getting back to Alex Dickerson, the kid that just finished his freshman year at Indiana, Big Ten Freshman of the Year. I got to tell you, I was so impressed listening to him talk about, pitching as far as guys trying to throw him inside, working with an aluminum bat opposed to a wood bat. Very impressive.
It was impressive because I got to be honest with you. There's a lot of guys that they never figure that part of it out. All right. There's guys that they go up there and they're swinging away. And the other thing about it is this, Coach. There's a lot of guys who are comfortable doing what they're doing. Hey, I've had success. I'm batting .370. I've got 14 home runs, 57 RBIs. I'm the freshman of the year. Why do I want to change anything? This kid's already thinking, look, I'm going into the wood bat league. I know what my strength is. It's swinging at the pitch out over the plate. These guys are going to try to pound me in because I've got a wood bat. I've got to start making some adjustments. Before he even gets to the Cape League, he's already thinking about what do I need to do to be successful in that league. He tries it. Some things aren't working out, so he evaluates and says, hey, you know what? It's not just me. It's not that I'm doing something wrong at the plate. I'm realizing that those pitchers can't do what I thought that they could do. I thought that these guys were going to be able to throw 3 fastballs on the inside corner and just wear me out on the inside part of the plate. And what he figures out is, I don't have to worry about that pitch because there's not too many guys that can actually make that pitch on a consistent basis. So he goes back to doing what he was doing before. It's the process, the entire process, Coach, of how do I get better? I'm willing to make a change. I'm willing to take the chance of making that change. Now that change isn't working out. Why? And he's evaluating himself. He's evaluating the pitcher that he's facing. It's just the overall thought process, and that's what you need to do to be successful at the major league level. Because, like I said, there's some guys that have talent, but they get stopped at a certain level. Once you realize that, hey, there's more to it than just the talent level. There's a learning process as well, and this kid obviously has the aptitude. That's why I get excited. Hey, the physical talent is there, but also the thought process of how am I going to get better and the willingness to take that chance. I give him a ton of credit.
All right, Bob, let's get out.